Hey kids, Chris with Fort Park Property Management and Real Estate here. We're going to talk today about the cost of a bad tenant. Now, everyone knows there's costs involved when you select the wrong tenant. Hopefully you don't put the wrong tenant in. Of course, we never do that, but it does happen sometimes. Even if you do your due diligence and do great background checks and things like that, issues can arise. Tenant maybe loses their job or they break up with a boyfriend or a girlfriend and things change, the situation changes, they can't pay their rent, and they go from being an ideal tenant to a bad tenant. That can happen pretty quickly. So what is the true cost of putting in a bad tenant? Well, there's the obvious ones. You're going to get possibly a couple months of vacancy while you do renovations. There's renovation costs. There's potential legal costs if you need to take them to court in order to get paid or to get them out even, might be the case. Those are the really obvious ones, but there's other things that you might not even think of. So think of these other ones before you just put anybody in your rental property. So one of the major things, and we've run into this, is that tenant is a bad tenant or the situation changes, they don't pay the rent, you get on them for trying to get the rent out of them, and they call the authorities on you. So maybe they call Capital Health. If you're in Edmonton specifically, call Capital Health. They come in there and they realize there's issues with your suite. And there's always going to be issues with your suite. They're never perfect. You've got people living in them and maintenance is just an ongoing thing. We've had issues before where a tenant had damaged the window screen. Relatively minor thing, but they ended up putting a hole in it. Capital Health came in and said you have to fix all these window screens. So that's going to cost you time and money fixing all those things. The other thing they can do is if you happen to have an unauthorized suite, maybe you don't even realize it, but your suite's unauthorized, they can call the city on you and they can get that suite shut down, and that can be not just temporary, that can be permanent. It can cost you thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands to remedy, if you can even remedy it. So please be aware of all these things before you put anyone in your suites. And that is the true cost of a bad tenant. Check out below the blog that I wrote to find out a little bit more detail.